My name's Chris, and I repair my own audio equipment, and I also show you how to repair yours. So let's get started. Andonstar sent me this digital microscope for free. They had contacted me and asked me if I'd like to do a review on it. I get approached from time to time to do product reviews, and this is the first one I've ever accepted and decided to go ahead and do it because this product was compelling to me. Did a little research on it, and I thought it was something that I could use. It's their model number AD409-PRO ES. First was the unboxing. So I'm not going to show you the assembly process, but it took about 15 minutes to put it together and to power it up for the first time. The instruction manual does a pretty good job of giving you illustrations on how everything goes together. So I couldn't help but look at something. Any of you guys know what I'm looking at here? How about this? Any guesses? So I just want to go over the ports, the input-output ports on this microscope. They are all at the top of the monitor. They're in a good place. I'd rather have them there than hanging out the bottom somewhere. So the first one is the endoscope interface. And this model microscope that I have does have that feature. So I use that particular port. If you don't have an endoscope, you just don't use it. The next in line's a memory card slot. And that's for a micro SD card. You must have one of those if you're going to record. This microscope does not come with one of those. The next port's a USB port, and that can be used either when this is a standalone unit, that port's used, they give you a cable for that, or you can use your computer. You can run the microscope through your USB into your PC, and then use it that way. And I did do that, and I'll show you how that worked. The next port is the HDMI port, and what that is so you can run an external HDMI cable, which is included with this unit, to your monitor. Maybe your monitor's bigger or what have you, and you'd rather see it on your monitor than the smaller screen. And last but not least is the reset hole. The microscope also comes with a remote control, but you'll need to supply 2 AAA batteries for it. I'm going to show you some more images in just a minute, but first I want to show you the power-up of this microscope. You get a welcome screen, and you've got images, or it looks like an image and something. This first one where you see something blurry up here, this is the endoscope here. You can kind of see it changing. I just picked it up and moving it around. And then what you see here is actually the plate from the scope. You can see it right down here. I'm going to stick my finger in here. You can kind of see it up here. So at power up, this is the view you get, but you're able to change the view between the microscope here and the endoscope here. And you can do that either from a series of buttons that are here that you pretty much can get through the menu system, or you can use the remote. And there's a button on the remote that you hit, and I'm going to hit it one time, and now I've got just the microscope. Hit it again, now I've got just the endoscope, hit it again, and I'm back to default. So I'm not going to go through every single function here, but I just wanted to show you how it powered up. There's a menu button, and if you go down through here, you've got resolution, exposure, date stamp, sharpness, freeze, contrast. Hit it again. Now you've got Wi-Fi, and by the way, I did try Wi-Fi. I did connect. I didn't really do much with it, but I'll mention that now because there's no need to go through all that. But you can go through here, pick language, set the time and date, format, and usually you just hit the menu again and you get right back out and you're ready to go. So I think it's time for me to show you some more of this microscope in action. Here I'm using the endoscope, and this is something I'm really looking forward to using with the older electronics. As you guys know, many issues are caused by cracked solder joints. This equipment is 40, 50, 60 or more years old, and cracked solder joints is a very common issue. And this endoscope does a wonderful job of giving you a close-up look. It does not have as good of resolution as the main microscope, but hopefully you guys can see on this monitor, it's more than enough to be able to tell if you've got a cracked solder joint. So it does a really wonderful job of giving you an up-close look at any type of questionable soldering you have. And with a touch of a button, you can save whatever you're seeing on your monitor to your micro SD card. Then you can transfer it over to your computer to look at what you recorded further, or to use it in a video like I plan to do. Using this endoscope, I've been able to see things, or more accurately, been able to record things that I've never been able to do before. So I'm pretty excited about integrating this microscope into many of my videos. The endoscope also comes with 5 accessories, and I'm not going to go over those much at all because I only found one of them really useful for me, and that was the mirror. And this is a shot I took inside the chassis. Not sure if that's going to be useful, but I'll play with it some more. So now let's take a look at the other microscope some. Early on in this video, when I got the oscilloscope first assembled, I asked a couple questions. So I couldn't help but look at something. Any of you guys know what I'm looking at here? How about this? Any guesses? Well, the second one is a power transistor, and I talk to you guys all the time about them. I reseat them, and I use new thermal compound on them. And that thermal compound is used to fill in microscopic cracks. I've never been able to show you microscopic cracks until now. And when you look at this case, it looks perfectly smooth. You think there's no defects in it. But when you look at it under a microscope, holy smokes, looks like Mars. This is the reason you use that thermal compound to fill in all those little cracks so that power transistor's case can transfer the heat. This microscope does a really good job of showing all those imperfections. The other item I showed under the microscope was a vacuum tube. I had just assembled the scope, and as I mentioned, I had to go ahead and take a look at something, and those two things came to me. So I took a look at an old phonograph needle under the microscope, a cartridge without a stylus. I took a look at another stylus that really needed to be cleaned badly. I took a look at some wiring on a cartridge body that I had. I went ahead and took some 22 gauge stranded wire and looked at that under the microscope. It really works very well. It focuses very well. The monitor's very bright and clear. I went ahead and did a little practice soldering to see how that would work under the microscope. I had no issues doing that. So as I mentioned earlier, I did hook the microscope up to my PC. In the owner's manual, there was a link to some software you needed to download. I downloaded the software and installed it on my Windows 10 computer. What you see there is me just putting a component under the microscope and then seeing it on my PC. And then you can save the images here on your PC. It saves them in BMP format, and you can go in and manipulate those around if you want. I really didn't spend much time with that at all. The same with the HDMI output from the microscope. I didn't spend too much time with it, but I did hook up the included cable and hooked it up to my monitor and made sure it worked. And yes, the output went to my monitor, but I really didn't spend a whole lot of time testing it. One issue I had was the way the unit saved files. No matter what I had on the video monitor, let's say I wanted just the microscope, it would record 2 files, the microscope and the endoscope. Or if I had just the endoscope on the monitor and I wanted just the endoscope video, it would record a second file for the microscope. So you got 2 files no matter what. It didn't really hurt anything, you just ended up with an extra file that you didn't need. You can probably tell I really like this Andonstar AD409-PRO ES. Has a few quirks, I mentioned those, but they're minor as far as I'm concerned, and I've only had it 3 days and I feel comfortable with it. I feel like I can use it and it will be an asset to what I do in 2 ways. One, it's going to help me repair the equipment I work on. That's important, but also I think this is going to be really an asset to my video making. I'll be able to get images that I was never able to get before because I didn't have a piece of equipment like this. So if you're in the market for a digital microscope, check this one out. I'll put a link down below to Amazon, and you can check it out. You can read other people's reviews. Everybody uses them in a different manner. Some people use them for coins, stamps, studying insects. I did something different with mine than I've seen other people do with theirs. So if you're into something that you think may require a digital microscope, I think you ought to check this one out and see what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video, and to my present subscribers, thank you so much for watching. And for you non-subscribers, please consider a subscription if you'd like to see more videos like this. Y'all have a good day.